It is not clickbait that the thumbnail of this video said that Bunny is quitting Rise of Kingdoms. And in this video, I will show you, in his own words, his message that he shared with 1254, that he's quitting the game. It's the end. And not only is it the end of his time in the game, but we're cooked in this KvK. We're done-ski. We can't get the field. If you can't get field in Orleans, you're dead. Dead in the water. Doesn't matter what's in your bags. It's GG, baby. So in this video, let me show you Bunny's words about what happened in this KvK, and also his quitting the game. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and I freaking gave it my all this KvK. I'm currently number 3 on the kill board for the Kingsland opening. Despite my having been offline for the past couple hours, I'm kind of surprised I'm still number 3. Spent some time with my family, had dinner, I went for a walk, did the bedtime routine with the kid, and I'm still 3rd. And I mention this because I gave it my freaking all, and despite giving it everything I had, man, we are pushed out of Kingsland. Here's the map update for those seeking it, and I know that's the comment I get every other minute in live stream chat. We got like 20% of Kingsland left, if I'm being generous. And the reality is that we just can't hold flags. And in this form of KvK, either you can take the field and swarm flags, or you lose KvK. It's one or the other, but once the 3rd auxiliary skill becomes available, you either take field or you lose KvK. And Bunny will share as much. So rather than my sharing kind of what happened in this KvK, let me give it to you in his words, and also show you his message where he retires from the game. So here we are in the 1254 Discord, and before anybody gets mad that I'm sharing 1254 Discord, Ruz gave me very explicit permission that I could share these messages. So he, as far as I know, is still Kingdom leadership, although he too is quitting the game, and he said I could share these messages. Plus, they're probably already on Facebook by the time I post this video anyways. So here it is. After much discussion, we've decided to accept defeat in this KvK due to the following reasons. This KvK is a numbers game, despite us being fat. With the strength of swarms due to the auxiliary skills, we are quite literally unable to reinforce flags without field, as they die much quicker than they otherwise would, and our activity and turnout has not been good enough. For the majority of the day, we find ourselves getting destroyed, pouring troops into flags which are burning anyways, getting destroyed by swarms. Our side has made little gains throughout the zone. Despite strong turnout during some hours, it's not enough to compensate for our downtime, and we're taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Looking at the data, a lot of people didn't show up. This is to be expected when going 8 months without a migration. However, we relied on a lot of people to give more than they did. And this KvK has been extremely taxing mentally, not only for those turning up, but also for those planning and executing, as very little can be done without numbers. And this is true. So there's a couple things that Bunny said here, and I want to highlight them. These are not excuses. These are facts. The fact is that this KvK, the Orleans format, if you're ever going to play it, it's all about field. And it's funny because I have often said a player who doesn't field fight is no different than a farm. A farm can send troops into a flag to die, but if you don't field fight, you're no more valuable than a farm would be that just sends their troops. And that's really a waste of space in a main alliance. It's very disappointing. But it is what it is. And that is one of the major reasons that we lost. 365 and others were saying, what's in your bags is going to win KvK. And the reality is that that was fully and completely irrelevant. The only thing that matters is, can you take the field? And if you have the numbers to take the field, then you can swarm. And if you can swarm in Orleans KvK, you win. And I will show you the auxiliary skills later on that highlight why exactly that's the case. So I just said the exact same thing Bunny said, but slightly different words, and the ideas are basically the same. He says, I'm proud of all who showed up. We fought well, we gave it our all, but we just can't sustain ourselves in Kingsland after having lost so much space and with our activity being as poor as it is. So what happens next? Regarding KvK stats, most of you should be on track, given enough time by now to reflect your performance and contributions. So if you didn't hit contribution by now, GG, you should have done it by now. As of now, you're not required to run your accounts into the ground to reach 65 million, which was our previous goal with a single hospital fill. So our goal, in order to get a migration, because the few accounts we have in 1254 are so big, Everybody had to get down to 65 million or we weren't going to get a proper migration into the kingdom. But he says, as of now, you can fight as much as you want. There are no longer objectives to fight for. So we've given the best that we can give. Allowing this to go on with so much looming change would put you at risk of depleting your accounts for a future that you may wish to play outside of 1254. That choice is yours to make. So you don't have to hit the dead troop requirement that you had before. And this is interesting because we're calling this KvK with tons of troops left still in the kingdom because they don't matter. You either can swarm or you cannot swarm. And if you can swarm, the swarmers are going to burn stuff. You're going to lose the trade somewhere between 2-1 or 4-1. You're getting absolutely raffle stomped. It's just dumb. So that's why the KvK was basically called. Like, can't get field, no point in playing, even though we're fat. It's crazy, but hey, look, you see it right over here. More info on the future of the kingdom will be released closer to the end of KvK. If you're considering outside options, you're encouraged to take them, as the truth is that there will be much rebuilding of the leadership team, the council and planning team, and it will be a slow road back to glory. So no hard targets for power drop requirements. Turn up if you like from here. Give it your all or go out and touch some grass. We'll update you with any further developments. That being said, people who did underperform are at the mercy of the kingdom afterwards, so show yourself out if you didn't give it your all this KvK. And those people are probably already being zeroed right now. Don't blow up our 4 DMs. Wait for more info in the coming days. We're getting this out early so people can make a decision as to whether or not they want to stay, try something similar with their group someplace else, or go for something different entirely before they run their accounts into the ground. You're all free little birds now. The team here truly gave it their all, and we wanted a great KvK. We apologize if it wasn't the fulfilling victory we had hoped for after so long. We had our enjoyable moments. There will be more to come in the next 20 days. Chill out a bit, turn up when you like, and just have some fun. That was always the aim. It's been an honor to play with you all. Thank you for the good times. Crazy, right? And then here is Bunny's departure. And now for the hardest part of this. I've never been one for farewells or dramatic exits, yet I feel I owe it to you all. After 14 KvKs here and many great memories, I believe my time with ROK is done. For a long time, I've had these thoughts as the game has become less enjoyable and more draining over time, yet I stuck around for the planners, the people I liked, and the hard workers and fighters who made this game bearable. There are too many of you to name, and thank you, but you know who you are. I believe a positive change can come from this. I never intended on 1254 being the bunny show, which is why so many of you are more than capable of leading in my absence. You're all amazing players, and I greatly enjoy my time here, but my priorities have changed. I've never been a mobile gamer and never intended on spending so much time on this thing. I'll still be here for the remainder of KvK, and I'll be in touch afterwards, but I believe the best decision for me is to walk away and put my time into less stressful and more productive things I enjoy more. All good things must come to an end. Once again, I thank you all for the good times here, the banter, the jokes, the KvKs, and the clowning around. I believe we built a kingdom with a legacy that's unmatched. And I want to talk about that for a second. Many people don't understand that 1254 was one of the few kingdoms in the game that both looks for hard fights and plays to win. And there's a difference between these things, okay? Looks for hard fights is not necessarily mutually exclusive from plays to win. And I'm sure you can think of a few big kingdoms out there that mostly just play to win. They do their Diplo or whatever else in a way that tries to mostly just set themselves up for victory, and then they take it from there. But 1254, and the reason people like to watch what we were doing so much, was one of the few kingdoms in the game that truly tried to do both. Pick the hardest fight we could possibly muster and try to win. And there's a difference. You don't play like an idiot when you're playing to win. Like, you actually try to go for the W in the smartest way possible. And I think in this KvK, not only were we in some ways, with our territory, outmaneuvered, but, I mean, there just weren't enough fighters. Let me continue on with what he said here. Regardless of the outcome of this KvK, this was my intention, and I would have loved to left you all on a high. I walk away proud of the kingdom I was able to help build, knowing that I left with good memories and helped create some of the fiercest fighters that ever played. To those who came recently and stuck around for so long in hopes of a better KvK, I am sorry. We gave it our all, but we deserved better. And then there's a little quote here about Ruz, and also there will be a little stream our little podcast on Redline's channel. Man. So that's it. The end of the bunny legacy. It's here in 1254, and this is the message he shared. And this is crazy, man. Some number of people are going to say that this is because SW and HMB said they were leaving the kingdom. That is completely untrue. This is completely unrelated to our departure from the kingdom, but it is a tragic alignment of our departure from the kingdom and also Bunny's departure from the kingdom. What do you say about this, man? Let me jump back in game. I suppose this leaves me with 2 or 3 thoughts about the Orleans KvK and things you need to do to keep your kingdom healthy. And the first thing I'll say about the Orleans KvK is that it's 100% no questions asked, all about the field. It's not what's in your bags. That is the most irrelevant thing in the world. All that matters is, can you take field? Do you have the numbers to hold field? And I will show you the auxiliary skills I used in this KvK. And out of curiosity, one of my marches was at one point hit by Osno, who has 46 billion kill points and is the kill point leader for this KvK overall, the most kill point gain in the KvK. And he is using almost exactly the same marches I was using and almost exactly the same bastion skills or auxiliary skills that I was using. So for those of you wondering, like, what are the right auxiliary skills? There they were, and that is what the #1 KP player in this KvK was using, with a little bit of variation. I don't think he was rallying or garrisoning. Like, why would you? You just swarm everything, right? So he had some of his garrison skills deployed elsewhere, and man, there are some good garrison skills here, okay? So why am I showing you this? Do you see how stupidly powerful all these skills are? Yeah, it's no wonder a garrison gets absolutely decimated by a swarm, because every single commander here is freaking correct. And sure, you can put some skills onto a garrison, okay? I get it. But it does not hold up. I would hope they do something in the future to make garrisoning more bearable in this KvK format, because as it stands, the thing I like about Rise of Kingdoms in part is that even when you're losing, you can do stuff. And in this KvK, that's not the case. When you lose, you just lose. It's over. And that's not defeatist mindset. That's just facts. If you cannot get the field, you will get swarmed like crazy, and you cannot recover, and you will not get value. You can't force your enemy to bleed out. You literally trade 4-for-1 negative trying to garrison these flags where they're getting crazy swarmed. Even if they don't have a rally on the flag, they can just stupid swarm it, and you will trade 4-for-1 negative. So I'm sharing that again. It's not an excuse. It's just a fact about the KvK. If you queue for this KvK, I hope you understand what you're signing up for. It's all about the swarm. Do I think that with some balance changes, this KvK could be really wicked? Absolutely. As it stands, once the 3rd auxiliary skill becomes available, garrisoning is not feasible. Okay, that's one big thing. I hope you take that away and get value from that. The other big thing that I hope you get value from is that it's very critical that your kingdom takes hard KvKs. As Bunny said, we had 8 months. I know people were saying it was a year, and they just like don't understand time. But it was about 8 months, according to Bunny, without having a proper fight. And this matters because of 2 things. First of all, you need to find where your dead weight is. And second of all, you need to keep people excited about the game. Bunny lost interest in the game. And I think if we had lots of KvKs all the time, he would still be playing this game. I think there's no shot he would have quit. If we had every other month, or I guess every 3 months, we're queuing up for KvK and getting a great match, right? And that's what keeps people engaged, and that's what keeps people wanting to push on the leaderboard and be fighting like crazy. So you've got to be taking fights in order to see where your dead weight is, clear out your dead weight, because unfortunately that's just the reality of the game, that dead weight counts towards your matchmaking, and your matchmaking is really critical. And that you keep a super active team. And I think the best way to do that is just really engaging KvKs. So GG. F's in the chat, man, for Bunny and also Ruz, who's quitting. And also for 1254, we lost this KvK. Definitely sucks. But congratulations to 846. Congratulations to 365. Congratulations to 945 on your victory. And a big thank you to our allies. I mean, 525 showed up big. They did the best they could. But the field from 846 was just really difficult to deal with. And a big shout out to our allies in 1302. They showed up big, man. I mean, they really brought a lot of attention, not to a new technique, but to a technique that's just so effective, and they executed it so well. Blocking off this area with forts, and then just living that fort wall life and making it in the next zone. I mean, they achieved a feat of strength that I think many people will remember them for a very long time, and I think they've earned it, and they deserve that recognition. So a big shout out to them as well. And, you know, some number of people are going to say that the announcement that HMB and SW were planning to start a new project and leave the kingdom is what killed the kingdom. People are entitled to their wrong opinion on that one, but that's not how it works. And certainly not in 1254. Every single player here is supposed to be a fighter. And I get that in other kingdoms where the mindset is different, that some number of people spook because of a message like that. But that should not have had any bearing whatsoever. And some number of people will incorrectly say that that influenced the outcome of this KvK. It did not. And we actually spent a lot of time debating whether or not to announce it when we did. But it was very critical that we announced it when we did, because we had to get the project going. Because as you can see, 1254 is changing, and it's not going to be the same. And we really needed to get going on recruiting. Now, that said, I think we have over 500 applications and already almost 100 people confirmed. And with the less than 100 people we have confirmed, just barely less than 100, we're on pace, when we're a full alliance, to be about 18 billion power and to be shy of about 1 trillion kill points as an alliance, which is insane. Now, I think we need to move toward the 2 alliance kingdom model, so we'll see how it all works out. But for those of you that want to join the project, you can go to burnruz.com and check it out. Burnruz.com, literally, Chadsky bought the URL. You can join the project, or at least apply to the project from that URL if you're interested. I got to just give a big shout out and thank you to Bunny. I think his leadership, when he's active and smacking his enemies around, is really fun and engaging, and was really great for the kingdom. I think he gives really clear battlefield direction in a way that's very difficult for others to replicate. And yes, we do have other leaders that are good and strong, but I think Bunny's unique flavor of leadership really led to a lot of people becoming better players and also following his example. So big shout out to Bunny. I really appreciate you, dude. And well, it's time I get back to it, man. Until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. And if you want to see the Kingsland battling, I got 2 live streams you can check out. Cards will be in the end screen for the Kingsland opening and also the battle this morning.